Boom! What's up? What's happening? It's Cameron and I am back with Finding My Passion. If you didn't watch the last episode, I mean, you could. It's still there. But TLDR, I'm documenting myself creating my new series titled Passion. So here we go, right? I know you all want to know what it's about because I gave you very vague terms last time. But pretty much it's about a young female singer who's trying to make her way out of Baltimore. And it's based on the concepts of Kehlani's music. However, before I really get into all that, I need to explain what led me to even have the idea. I've kind of been into music my whole life. Yes, I like every art form, but somehow I find a way to tie music into everything. And let me show you something real quick. You might know this, especially if you're a Kehlani fan, right? Everything by Kehlani. Go ahead and check that out. Anyway, back in 2018, 2019, in addition to like the vlogs I was saying I was doing on this channel, I also started doing what I call music video covers. There were some songs I was listening to that didn't have music videos, and I was like, they should. And pretty much, I used my little Canon 77D. I got some GVM panels from my college, and I dragged whoever I could into it, my friends, my family, and I was making these movie-like scenes to go with the songs I like. The highest one I ever got 800 views, and that blew my mind. I told you in the last video, when I saw 1,000 followers on Twitch, that was the highest I'd ever seen. So like to see even 800 super impressed me. I was like, I'm doing something. People are into it. Another cool thing that happened is for a couple of those, like I actually had people interact. So I did like a birthday dance video one where I made my sisters choreograph it, and then we posted it, and it was for birthday by Anne-Marie. And when I shared it on Twitter, Anne-Marie actually responded to it. That was super cool. I did the same thing with Fix It by Dinah Jane. She spoke on it. Now that was crazy because like you know, Fifth Harmony was my jam during that time. So I was like, ah! Even though they were already on hiatus. But you get the point. Carter Ace, who's my friend, I did a live action one for and an animation for. So yeah, you know, just doing what I can to add my little 2 cents to people's music. Anyway, why did I decide to make this particular series Kehlani inspired? She's great. Duh! Next question. Okay, no, but on a real, pretty much when I was coming up with ideas of things to do, originally when I was with my old YouTube partner, I was thinking in my head, you know, in addition to shooting indie content, you need a way to connect it to people. And at that point in time, last year, 2025, streamers were using celebrities on their streams in order to make things grow, right? Okay, well, my YouTube's not live and I'm not doing it that way, but how could I still tie it to a celebrity without doing it in a way that I felt like was taking advantage of said celebrity and more so paying homage, right? Follow me. Follow me. So I had to think of an artist that had a discography that was like long enough and that had lyrics that I could pull a story from. And boom, Kehlani. I'm kind of treating this series as like a fun side quest for fans, but also regular content for regular viewers. Think in your head the same way musicians might sample older songs so that it brings in that audience, but also, you know, curates to who the present is. That's what I'm doing. So her rawness and emotion that she put in all of her music, I got ideas from it, right? And I took that, flip-flopped it into a storyline and actually made it flow. And I don't know, I think it's super dope. If I get to play out the whole thing, I think people are going to go, how? Of course, it would always be super cool if she interacted with it, but that's not necessarily necessary. This is for us, the people. Imagine like fan-made stuff, you know what I mean? But also not so fan-made because it's not reliant on her music. Her music is not in the show at all. Let me clarify that. Concepts. It is concepts we are working with here, okay? On a side note, I also have a lot of weird lore when it comes to Kehlani. And I'm gonna sound crazy when I say it, but F it, I'm gonna tell y'all. This is for my conspiracy theorists, all right? If you cannot take a joke, you're gonna have to log out right now. I'm so sorry. I mean, I don't want to lose the view, but you gotta go. This is my disclaimer. Don't take me serious. For fun. All right, here we go. Lock in, because this is a ride. Let's go all the way back. I was actually introduced to Kehlani's music in 2016 by my college roommate, right? This is a die-hard fan I'm talking about. They're supposed to get married. I don't know if Kehlani knows that, but yeah. She's like, how do you not know who Kehlani is, right? And I'm like, bro, I think the song she showed me was Gangsta, and I recognized it from Suicide Squad. Why? Because Harley Quinn, like, I'm in love with Harley. Now, my favorite song from that particular soundtrack is actually Sucker for Pain, but that might have to do with the fact that I was heavily depressed during that time period of my life. Not to get all into it, because I could definitely pull out my sad D1 basketball story. I won't. And also at the time, my high school best friend, there was like a lot going on. She was a year behind me. I felt like I had lost contact, and that was like my main person I would chat to. So no basketball, no friend. Yes, I'm supposed to be here making new friends, but I'm a Pisces, guys. I get depressed. That's what happens. Now in 2017, Sweet Sexy Savage dropped. At that point, I think I started, you know, hearing about her more. And I was working with the volleyball team at my school, and I remember us being on the bus ride home. This girl, she FaceTimes her sister. Lo and behold, her older sister was a model for Kehlani's then girlfriend. And we're all like, what? Not because like it's just like Kehlani, but when you're existing in a space where you don't regularly interact with celebrity, it was just cool to think like, oh, hey, you might be just like 1 or 2 people removed from like seeing this person. And that was the coolest thing ever at the time. So we were super hype about it. So I would honestly say by the time I actually got hooked was probably when Nights Like This came out in 2019. I heard the lyrics of Nights Like This and I was like, I felt that. I felt that personally. More so about the fact of like, you know, being close to somebody and losing them to someone else. It didn't necessarily have to be relationship based, but it spoke to me and I finally tapped into her. I just recently found her SoundCloud, which is super late, but that's not the point. That also has some bangers on it that's not on the tape. So if you don't know, go check that out. But yeah, I pretty much followed her ever since. And I think in addition to like the lyrics and the songs keeping me, the personality that she's allowed us to see of her, because like I said, you never really know somebody till you actually know them, but the personality she has allowed us to see, yeah, I've definitely been into. I would also like to low-key add, even though it may not matter to you guys, but I'm definitely happy she's getting to be the mom she's always talked about being, especially as someone who was raised by a single mother. I always am gonna hold space for them, and like, she's doing amazing. She's doing amazing. So what did I say? That was 2019. Starting 2021, and mind you, I started using Spotify in 2020 when I started streaming. 2021, she was my top artist. I'm talking, I was in the top 0.00000000001% and have been ever since. I at least fluctuate between all the albums. Like, it's not like I'm stuck on one. And I do listen to other people. The thing is, I always go back. Like, I can't get enough. I can't get enough. All right, so here's where we're gonna get into the real tea. Like I said, the lore is weird. Everything I've said up until this point is pretty normal, right? Okay, I actually stayed in LA in 2021 for 3 months. You know, I'm kicking it the whole time. I think I was out there from July to October, okay? And I'm just chilling with my fam. My aunt's allowing me to like go to studio time with her and blah, 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 blah. So October comes and my aunt is shooting a music video with her brother. The director is actually an AD that's known around town, and he's the one that got me on the Blank Square Productions that I pointed out in part 1. If you watched it. Yeah, so when she brought me on the shoot with her, he saw how I was knowledgeable about certain things. At the end of the day, he's like, hey, I have this shoot coming up in a couple days. It's with Yooooooo and Kehlani for Beautiful Lies. No, I'm not gonna hold you. On the outside, I'm like, that's cool. On the inside, I'm like, oh! He asked me that I want to come PA, and I'm like, yeah, that sounds great. So it was a combination of excitement, not just for her, but for the experience itself. The day came that it was supposed to happen, and he hit me up, and he was like, sorry, we had to push it back because Kehlani's still at Fashion Week. Now, mind you, I was looking at her on Instagram. I did know she went to New York Fashion Week that year, but when I went to look for it, she went from the New York Fashion Week to Paris Fashion Week. And in my head, I'm like, y'all didn't know? Like, y'all didn't hit the girl up and be like, hey, when you gonna back so we can do the video? No. So we're just waiting in limbo. Like I said, I had been in LA for 3 months at this point. I had a week left. I'm like, she's gonna come back before I have to leave, right? She's gonna come back? No. I went home. I would say she probably flew home the next day after I left. And then the day after that, they filmed the video. And I saw it on the AD's Instagram. And I was like, she just didn't want to work with me. Got it. Cool. That's great. Again, this is my second warning. If you are not a conspiracy theory enthusiast and you don't know how to have fun, leave right now. This is your last warning because it only gets stranger from here, okay? So after that happens, I am a little bummed. Blue Water Road came out the following April, I think. We've gone from October 2021 to now springish of 2022. And I want to say it was early May that she dropped the tour dates for Blue Water Road. I was like, I'm just going to a concert. Now, mind you, I had never been to a concert before, so I was like, it would be great, you know, for her to be my first. Disclaimer, after the previous year, I had decided I'm just going to go to LA every July because it's my cousin's birthday, and I can just do that in the summer. I was a newbie to buying flights, so I would just buy it in like January, February to get it as cheap as possible, okay? The ticket was bought in January, February. So I went to go look at the tour dates and locations, right? So I'm from PG, and I went to see when she was performing near us. Well, while I was home, she was going to be in LA. And then when I was going to be in LA, she was going to be performing by PG. And I'm like, so not only do you not want to work with me, you can't even be on the same coast as me at the same time? Is it that personal? At this point, I have to accept, wow, you just don't want to be around me. Cool. And mind you, I was going to go to the meet and greet. It was only $300. I was going to drag my college roommate down with me. I was like, we're going to do this. Like, you hyped her to me. This is the moment. 5.5 years later, boom, you're going to get to meet her. I wasn't even in the same place, same time. But to make matters worse, that was the beginning of May, right? I think the dates dropped. May 22nd or around that time, she releases the promo video for Blue Water Road with Rico Nasty. Love Rico. Rico went to high school with me. Did I personally know her? No, she's a year older than me, but I have a lot of classmates who were cool with her. But the point is, so you're hanging out with people that were around me, but just not me. And she's your opener. At this point, I started to feel targeted, right? Because this is like the third offense in a row, like consecutively. And I'm like, I wish I was making this up. Continuing the same year, 2022. When I'm in LA, I have two other friends from high school that went to do her meet and greet when she came here by PG. Not only did they go to the meet and greet, their pictures ended up on the official fan page. I'm not gonna take it personal. Again, my conspiracy theory enthusiast, tell me right now, does all this seem coincidental? Keeping it going, that same July, I think I only stayed in LA 3 weeks that time because that was like 3 months. It's way too long. No shade to LA, but when you're there and you're not surrounded by like-minded people, I feel like it's very mentally, emotionally, and spiritually draining. There was no escape. I just felt like the life was constantly being Up until this point, I've taken many flights for the documentaries I had to do around the US, right? So when my uncle drops me at LAX and I go through security, boom, 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 on my way to my thing, I'm sitting at my gate and they're like, flight, blah, blah, blah. It's now being rerouted. Now, just to explain this to you, I was going from LAX to Dallas to Maryland, okay? I didn't freak out when the change happened because someone like me, I actually low-key get excited by change. So I'm like, oh, this is something different. I would only be worried if it was like this crazy last minute thing that made me get stuck there. That's different. But if I just have to change gates, cool, whatever. So now my flight was rerouted from LAX to Las Vegas to Maryland. And I'm like, okay, cool. I've never been to Vegas. Mind you, I'm only going to be in the airport, but still, that counts for me. I took the little quick 40-minute flight. While I'm sitting there waiting for my next plane, I go on Instagram. A certain somebody decided to show up in Texas for a surprise birthday party. You don't want to work with me. You can't be on the same coast. Now I can't even fly through the state because you wanted to pop up. Are we being serious? This is for real. By that point, I was like, I'm fully accepting if we ever end up in the same vicinity, the world will end. I'm accepting it. I let it go from there. I didn't try to go to anything else. 2023, I'm just watching, you know, she's over there doing her thing. I'm over here doing my thing. I think I should throw in for extra tech, Crash tour was also in 2024. One of the friends, the one that actually made it on the fan page, like I said, for Blue Water Road, went to this and met her again and got her to record a video for the other friend who was at the last tour but couldn't make it to this one. And they sent it to me, of course.
Sorry you couldn't make it, Nat. We'll see you next time. Next time.
Kehlani, I'm gonna tell you be careful with them though, because one of them threatened to fight me for you now that you're single, and I've never even expressed romantic interest, so girl can't be a fan in peace. I don't know what the problem is. I can't get in proximity, and people are fighting me over someone I can't even be around. Is there really a competition? You got it. You got it. You got it. But 2024, right? I had a friend. He lived in Huntsville, Alabama. He heard there was going to be this random music festival, and he was like, guess who's performing? Kehlani. And I was like, bro, that's cool. You should go. He was like, no, you can come down and visit, and like we can go to the festival. I was like, dude, did you not learn? That's against the rules. I can't go. I can't go. If I go, it's gonna get canceled. For sure. He didn't believe me. He was trying to make it happen. I lie to you not. So this festival was supposed to happen in April. They dropped like January 13th that it was happening. Hey, come buy your tickets. I want to say a week went by. I want to say it was a week. The festival was canceled. I have no idea why it was canceled. But pretty much as soon as it got canceled and he told me, I was like, that's because you tried to break the rules. We're not supposed to be in the same place, bro. You did it to yourself and you ruined it for everyone else. So needless to say, he became a believer after that. Anyway, that was a little ha-ha hee-hee. Do with that information what you will. The point is, I'm a fan, and the world might end if we ever meet. I don't know. So wrapping that into passion, last year when I was with my company partner in 2025, I was thinking, how could I do more ideas while getting back to my love for music? And I remember how I mentioned when I listen to music, I see visuals, and then I thought about people who sometimes do storytelling with their music. And I was like, how cool would it be if someone made a whole album be like a season or whatever, instead of like the movie thing they try to do. I'm thinking, oh, each song is like an episode someone could expand on, blah, 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 blah. And it just so happens, I was super familiar with Kehlani's music. So I was like, let me beta test this on her. I spent 2.5 days listening to her entire discography from Cloud 19 all the way to While We Wait 2. I will throw in there, while I was writing, I had a song on, like, the songs on loop until I could figure out how to fit them into the plot line. And it was imperative that I listen to all of it, because sometimes when I went later on, there were plots I wanted to take place, but they needed certain events to happen earlier on. So I was doing like a lot of back and forth. That's kind of why it took 2.5 days. In the end, I ultimately decided to do parts instead of seasons, because there were a lot of concepts that I found I could collapse versus some that could be expanded, and I didn't want to get into the habit. Like I said, I'm trying to be easier on myself. I don't want to get locked into, or a season should be this much or whatever. I want to do exactly the amount I need to complete the story I've thought of. Now, I don't want people to be confused. This is in no way a biopic at all. There are a few parallels to Kehlani's life up front, but that's mostly because I needed to make reference to certain songs. But as the show goes on, you'll see, like, my storyline is its entirely own thing, like completely. Now, I did read a couple of articles about her in regards to Cloud 19, because I needed to see like the realness and rawness of the emotion that was behind the lyrics, because that impacts how the lyrics sit with me and changes how I might guide the character or what the actual meanings of certain things is. Most of the time though, I am inferring my own meaning from it, but for Cloud 19, because it was so early on and there's not like anything to preface that, I just really wanted to make sure my foundation for the show was straight, and I could build from there. So Passion Part 1, Cloud 19, is about a 19-year-old singer named Sky who's trying to use her gift to get out of Baltimore. She deals with a bunch of obstacles, like a boyfriend who objectifies her, a mom who's struggling with addiction, and a city of people who think that she's acting like she's better than them by trying to make something of herself. Now, luckily for her, she has her best friend Kaya that's trying to hold her down, but you gotta watch and find out how that goes for them. I'm not gonna tell you how many episodes are in Part 1. I mean, I have to leave some things up, but hopefully everything I've said so far is interesting and makes you want to see more. I remember debating with myself, it's like, is this a living project where it's like every time she makes a project I have to extend the ending, or is this the real ending? She answered my question for me when she revealed her 9th project, 5th album, was going to be self-titled. I'm not going to have a passion that's Passion Part 9 Kehlani. I'm already fighting to convince everyone it's not a biopic, which will be obvious. But can you imagine I came out with something like that? It's going to be too associated. And like I said, this is more of a paying homage thing and a sampling of concepts, expanding from music into film instead of like, I need this person to be associated for it to matter. So While We Wait 2 is definitely my ending, and it gave me a little bit of solace to know that, because like I said, my ambition can take me places, but that grounded me. So I appreciate you for that one, you know, for sure. If you count each mixtape and album of hers, you'll see in total, up until While We Wait 2, there are 8. And so therefore, there will be 8 parts of passion should I make it that far. So yes, I actually already know what already happens at the end, but we got to start where we at. I am only predicting that I'll film parts 1 and 2 this year because I want to get it done, but I have to be very careful of my ambitiousness. I want to do it in a way that's manageable and healthy for me, because this is something I really, really care about, and the storyline, it's just so relatable in so many ways, and I don't want to have this be something that I burn out in. I really want to make it happen. If not for me, maybe for the people that need to hear it. Maybe to show how Baltimore can have arts come out of it. Sometimes people try to associate the city with like nothing but negativity. So I'm pretty much just trying to have a positive impact in the only way I know how. So I think that wraps up this section pretty good. I think in the next part, I'll talk about my part 1 scripts, my planned rollout, and the fact that I dropped my casting call. And all the stress that has come with that. So if you're interested in following passion or just me and my story, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.